So no sooner do I upload my previous He-Man related video, where I talked about the good and the bad points about Revelation, but then a trailer drops for another He-Man show that Netflix has produced. Imaginably entitled He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. What first impressions can we take from this new show based on the trailer and the couple of clips that have already been released? Well, let's take a look. Okay, so the first impressions I have here is that this version of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is clearly for the kids this time round, and not a 40-year-old fart like me that watched the original series back in the 80s. I get that, I understand that, but bloody hell, this does look very good. So the first thing that becomes obvious is the look of this new cartoon. This isn't a 2D animation like all previous He-Man cartoons have been. This time round, all the characters have been rendered in CGI, and the show looks akin to a lot of the Disney and Star Wars animated series that are popular with the kids at the moment, like Star Wars Rebels and The Bad Batch. The characters are chunky looking with large Disney-like eyes and exaggerated features and body types that we've seen in those aforementioned shows. It also looks like that when this show does its inevitable crossover with Fortnite, like every other franchise out there, these characters will actually fit right into that world. Whilst the original He-Man series, along with the 2000X series and Revelation, had Eternia depicted as a strange and savage land where sword and sorcery happened alongside futuristic technology and weaponry, it does look as if this new series has gone solely for that futuristic look, maybe a bit of cyberpunk in there. It does look very different, and I want to remain optimistic about this new show, but I still remember what happened the last time He-Man went into the future.
I was summoned to the future by the last of mankind to defend them in their hour of need.
Anyway, that's probably a subject for another video. Having said that, it does look like they are still magic users in Eternia, as evidenced by the footage of evil-lyn that we've seen so far. Although Orko is now a Star Wars-esque droid with a personality, rather than being a court magician. He-Man no longer looks like a blonde Conan the Barbarian. Instead, he's wearing battle armour. This has been a common occurrence throughout other Masters of the Universe related media. I'm guessing that furry loincloth look is seen as outdated these days. In the comic books in recent years, He-Man has also been decked out in a full body battle armour, and of course he had a change of wardrobe in Season 2 of the 2000X series when he was fighting the Snake Men. There has also been an interest in recent years of getting rid of that big red iron cross that He-Man sported on his chest during the 80s, as it does have other connotations now. This explains why He-Man's chest logo is slightly different in the 2000X series and why it's a big red H in Revelation. He-Man's symbol in this new series looks like a H and an M together, but it also looks like two swords coming together, perhaps as an allude to the two halves of the power sword from the initial mini-comics.
There you go.
Don't make it weird.
It looks as if there's going to be an emphasis on comedy alongside the excitement, action and adventure, which the Filmation series also had, and that it will stray away from the darker, grittier tone that the 2000X series and Revelation had. I would also suggest that perhaps this show is a reboot that, like the new She-Ra show on Netflix, exists in its own separate continuity and has no connections to the other series. Unless, of course, this turns out to be set in the far future of Eternia, and all of these characters are in fact ancestors of the characters from the original series, but that seems unlikely. Adam comes across as a well-meaning, good-hearted kid, but a bit of a bumbling idiot at times, and this doesn't necessarily change when he becomes He-Man either. He's actually freaked out after his first transformation, but when he realises what he can do, he's basically standing there going, whoa, in awe of his own strength and what he can do. This is very similar to how Shazam was depicted in the more recent movie. It's a 16-year-old boy that suddenly finds himself in the body of a massively muscled man with superpowers. Although I've got to have a bit of a laugh at those smaller legs that he's got. I mean, aside from the usual He-Man skipped leg day jokes, it does actually make him look a bit like Mr. Incredible from the Incredibles movies. Again, something else that's alluring to this having a bit of a Disney feel to it. The other heroes are also younger than their original Filmation versions, and when He-Man transforms into He-Man, they also get a power and a weapon upgrade as well. So it's not just He-Man saying that he has the power, but they have the power as well. Duncan / Man-at-Arms is also a teenager, and he looks to be roughly the same age, if not a few years older than Adam. So him being a mentor figure will be a somewhat different dynamic this time round. He also looks like Samus Aran from the Metroid video game series once he's all suited up. A character who I thought was Teela actually turns out is a gender-swapped Ram-Man. Ram-Man is now, well, this version of Ram-Man is Ram-Mam, which is certainly a different take on the character. And then finally we have someone that I'm guessing is an amalgamation of Teela and the Sorceress. And I suppose that due to the de-aging of these characters, that there'll be no family ties between this version of Teela or this version of Duncan this time around. Now, like with Star Wars Rebels and The Bad Batch, this looks to be a team-orientated show about unlikely characters, some of them being young teenagers, fighting against an oppressive empire, and this team eventually becoming great heroes. Now, He-Man is still clearly the lead character and protagonist, but like in the classic series, he will be backed up by his team of friends and allies. I'm sure that'd be good news to anyone that disliked Masters of the Universe Revelation when Teela ended up becoming the main character. So yes, we've got He-Man in the title, and it's very clear here that He-Man is the main character, so those who didn't like that turn in Revelation can at least breathe a sigh of relief. It is likely that we might be seeing more characters from the classic series joining his side as well. At the moment it's just He-Man, Man-at-Arms, this person that I'm guessing is Teela, Ram-Mam, Cringer and Orko. And then for Skeletor's side, we've seen him with evil-lyn, Trapjaw, Beastman, and Whiplash. And I believe 2Bad will be in there as well. So I'm guessing at some point Skeletor will be recruiting some other villains from the classic series to help him in his fight as well.
The Master's nemesis have arrived.
The power of Grayskull is alive.
Who's there?
Why, Adam? Don't you recognize your Uncle Keldor?
Speaking of Skeletor, for me, this was perhaps the most interesting aspect of this new show. The trailer shows that Keldor is acknowledged as Adam's uncle, which I think must be the first time that this has been done in animation. The original mini-comic back during the 80s toyline first mentioned King Randor's missing brother, Keldor, and that Skeletor was determined to make sure that Randor would never find him. Now, when we got to the 2000X series, Keldor was an antagonist that attempted to take over the Hall of Wisdom with his minions until he was defeated in battle by Captain Randor and the Defenders of Eternia. Attempting a cowardly attack on the Captain with acid, Keldor's plan backfired and he suffered severe facial injuries. On the verge of dying, Keldor asked Hordak to save his life, but this led on to him then becoming Skeletor and becoming more powerful, but of course losing his sanity and his face in the process. Now, had the 2000X series continued on after Season 2, it would have been revealed that Randor and Keldor were indeed brothers. or at least half-brothers, which was something that would allure back to the original mini-comic from the toy lines. And this is something that would also be established in some of the later comics as well, thus making Skeletor He-Man / Adam's uncle, which makes for a completely different dynamic. Although the Revelation prequel comic book series seems to have forgotten all of this and has come up with some other bizarre origin for Skeletor, where he's part of a race of skeleton people that at one point he had a wife and child. Yeah, I'm not too sure about this one, but again, that's probably a subject for another time. It also looks like Adam, being He-Man, is known to at least two of the villains, evil-lyn included, as when Adam first transforms into He-Man, it's right in front of her. Now, it will be interesting to see if evil-lyn will share this information with Skeletor, or whether she'll keep this knowledge to herself for her own personal gain. Because, as we've seen in previous iterations of Masters of the Universe, evil-lyn often has her own agenda. Now, there are a few Easter eggs out there for fans of the original series who will no doubt be watching this new show with their kids. When Adam transforms into He-Man, we're still seeing Castle Grayskull in the background, as we did with the Filmation original, the 2000X series, and in the final shot of the 1987 live-action movie. Also, the exploding red rocks are also very similar looking to the packaging artwork of the original toy line, which I'm sure was intentional. So again, I'm not the target audience for this show, and this is something that seems to have gone over the heads of a lot of other people on YouTube that are already saying that they hate this. The same people that were kicking off and complaining about Masters of the Universe Revelation are now turning around and saying that they hate this as well, before a single episode has even come out. This isn't He-Man for them. This is He-Man for the kids. This is He-Man for your kids. For those who watch the original 80s series, you will always have that. You will always have the original 80s series. No one is taking that away from you. But this He-Man is for this current generation of children.
Behind this gate lies great power. We must approach with caution. Adam!
Wait up! Wait up!
As a He-Man fan, I will be checking this series out just out of curiosity, and I hope that it turns out to be something that's just as enjoyable to this generation of children as the original Filmation series was to me during my own childhood. Let's hope, eh? Anyway, that's the end of another little analysis / rant on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Thank you to everyone that has taken the time to watch this video. If you have enjoyed this, then please take the time to leave a like and a comment on this particular video, and be sure to check out my other two He-Man related vids that I have uploaded to my YouTube channel recently. Please also consider sharing this video across your social media, in particular with anything that's related to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And why not subscribe to the channel as well in order to see my other videos. But for now, thank you very much for stopping by the Big Daddy D Reviews channel, and we will catch you again next time.